Hello, welcome to Tejedora Knits. My name is Gladys. I am a knitter and crafter based out of Southern Nevada, and welcome to my little knitting corner of the internet. I am so happy to have you here. So today I have a classic podcast episode for you where I will be chatting about everything that I've been knitting and crocheting on in the past 3 weeks. So I have finished all of my baby projects. I have my old whips back on the needles and a few exciting summer cast-ons. And I have a new mic, so hopefully the audio and this episode will be much more enjoyable for you all, as well as easier for me to edit as well. So let's get right into it. So let's get started with the finished objects. They are all baby projects. They are the last 3 projects that I had on my little baby collection. So first up, I have my Olives wrap. So this is a pattern from Knitting for Olive, Pernille Larsen, and it is a wrap top style sweater. So it has little buttons here in the front. It has 2 layers of fabric, and then I just crocheted, it's hard to show, I crocheted like a little tie here on the inside to keep it closed. And the sweetest part, little tag made with love. I think it's the sweetest little touch. So I talked at length in my previous podcast about how much I disliked the pattern and what a hard time I was having. It is a bottom-up construction. So you knit the bottom panel individually first, and then you knit the sleeves separately, and then you attach them all and then start doing the raglan decreases. So I just had a really hard time, understanding the pattern, understanding the technique. I had to fudge quite a bit and, just try my best to make it work. So I did what I could. I had originally wanted to do, it has the option for I-cord ties or the buttons, but I was just very frustrated by the end of this, and the thought of having to do I-cords was a little bit too much. So I found these buttons. I have a little button collection of all the random buttons that come attached to some of the commercial garments that you'll buy. They'll have like a little extra button. So I was able to find 2 little matching buttons in that little button stash, I guess, that I have. So I did that and just crocheted little straps to go around it. I did do the picot edges as well. And I made this in a size 3 month. It was originally designed for a fingering weight yarn. However, I used a sport weight. The yarns that I used, the pink one is, let me show them so you can probably see them a little bit better. So the pink one is BC Garn Alba in the color Magnolia, which is 100% organic cotton. And then the beige color is the Drops Saffron cotton in the color Camel. So I striped these 2, mostly because I just had that ball of Drops cotton and I was trying to find a way to use it up. They both have the exact same yardage. They pair together really well. Not a ton of difference when working with the 2 yarns, but I do like the fact that the BC Garn cotton is organic. So that's just a little thing to keep in mind. They're both still very affordable yarns. So I knit this on the recommended needle size, which was 3 millimeters. And I think this is a little bit bigger, comparatively speaking, to a 3-month baby size. This is looking a little bit more like a 6-month to me, but we're going with it. I was expecting it to shrink up a little bit. When it blocked, it didn't necessarily. One thing that I noted is that when drying, this cotton dried a bit crunchy. So it was feeling a bit stiff. And what I did is I threw it along with my next project made in the same cotton. I threw it in the dryer for a few minutes for it to just, toss around. And that did soften it up a bit. So I'm hoping that by the next wash, perhaps it'll be washed in the washing machine and thrown into the dryer, and it'll, get softer. It is still, soft, so it's not really a problem. But compared to another cotton that I am working with in another whip, I noticed that the other cotton is softer than this one. So total cost for this project, I ended up using 2 balls of each. I was able to get up until maybe like this last button kind of, and I ran out of yarn. So I had to purchase more. So I am including the cost of 2 balls of the Alba and 2 balls of the Drop Saffron. So cost for that was, the yarn cost me $13.30. So we could just, round that down to $13. and the pattern cost me $8 for a total project cost of $21. And it took me 22 days to complete, excluding the time that I had to wait for the new yarn to arrive. So, like I said, it wasn't my favorite. I would definitely not knit it again. But you know, it's done. It's there. I hope that baby gets good use out of it. So that's all I'll say about that. But yes, it was quite a frustrating project for me. My next finished object is also from Knitting for Olive. This is their Rail Bear bonnet. It's a little creased from being folded. But this I made up as a companion for, let me see if I can try, as a companion for the olive sweater. So this one I made in the same pink yarn. It is the BC Garn Alba. And the pattern is designed for a DK weight held on 3.5 millimeter needles. But I did a sport held double. So I think that is what caused, and this is a 3-month size, and this is quite big for a 3-month baby head. This is looking like 6 to 9 months to me. So I think it is because I used a thicker yarn. Also, I feel like just generally speaking, the Knitting for Olive pattern writing style is not my personal favorite. I made it work. I figured it out. And now that I have the pattern and I've made it and, you know, I've done the work of figuring it all out, I would make this one again. I feel like it would be a really nice little gift knit, especially for, you know, when I don't want to make a whole sweater to gift to someone, maybe like a coworker or something. A nice little hat like this works up very quickly. I made this in 2 days. I knit the body in 1 day and then the straps in another day. There was just like a month in between the 2 days, but you know, 2 working days. Now the issue is that this hat is not proportional to the sweater. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to make her a second, or her being my niece. I think I'm going to make a second hat. As much as I am over baby projects, I think it'll just work out well for this. When I ordered the second ball of the drop saffron, they accidentally sent me 2 balls instead of 1. It's not a big deal. I mean, that yarn costs less than $2 per ball. So I am thinking of making one in the drop saffron camel color, just a single strand of the sport weight, and sizing down my needles to 3.25 and making a size 3-month. So I think that proportion should work better. And then of course I'll still gift her this one and she can use it, you know, when she's bigger. So I'm not mentally ready to cast that on yet. And I still have a little bit of time. I'm still about 4 weeks out from hosting my sister's baby shower. So I still have time. And like I said, it's a quick knit. So I think I'll be making a second one of these. Total cost for this project, it was just a single ball of the BC Garn Alba, which was $4.75. The pattern had a cost of $5.30. So rounded off, it is a $10 kids hat, which I think is really cute. So I'm very excited to see her wear this with her little bear ears. So another baby project successfully completed. And then my third and final baby project is the coffee onesie. What a cute, it is so adorable. So this is the coffee onesie by Martine Jacobson. And it is, you know, a onesie, which I will say, the construction of a onesie is not for the faint of heart. If you're looking for an easy baby gift knit, a onesie of any shape or form is not what you're looking for. But it has lots of different textured sections. So it has twisted rib, it has some garter and stockinette. So props to this pattern designer because she did an incredible job. There are so many little bits of shaping throughout this whole project. So it has a hood, zipper, which I'll talk about. It has extra ribbing on all of the cuffs so that way you can fold it over their arms and feet, or as they grow you can not fold the ribbing and it'll kind of, you know, grow with them a little bit more. It also has some increases here at the crotch to accommodate their diaper, and then of course, you know, the legs, and also a little bit of shoulder shaping as well. And then the reason why I chose this project was for the zipper. I didn't want to give a baby gift that had a quadrillion buttons or okay, 10, but still, if you have a squirmy baby, trying to button 10 buttons on a wiggly baby, that's a lot. So I made this zipper function is what really drew me to this project or to this pattern. So you also knit a zipper, an interior zipper facing, so a little strip, and then you seam the outside of the strip to the body of the sweater, and then you put in the zipper. So I ended up hand sewing the zipper just because it was a lot easier to maneuver the 2 layers of fabric plus the zipper itself. And I think with my sewing machine, it just would have been more finicky. And it seems pretty sturdy just with the hand sewn, so I'm not going to go back and do a machine overlay, I guess. The zipper is quite sturdy. I ordered it from Linda Hobby when I ordered that extra yarn for the previous projects. So looking back, I think I would have preferred a nylon zipper just because the zipper was a bit long. So let me try and flip this inside out to show you. The zipper was a smidge long, and I forgot that you can't cut metal zippers the way that you do nylon zippers. So this is the inside. So the zipper's poking out a little bit. I think I will, before gifting it, I'll go back and like knit over it just in case, so that way it's not like flopping around. It won't hurt her because this one is designed, or at least I'm going to tell my sister it's designed for her to wear like a nice little layer, like a long sleeve shirt and pants underneath it, and have this more as like an outerwear as opposed to a next to skin type of garments. So, and especially with the diaper, I don't think she'll feel the zipper, but just in case, I think I'm going to cover it up just in case. But yeah, zipper is quite heavy and sturdy for this. I also added a little made with love tag, just so cute. The yarn that I used for this one is the Lana Grossa Cool Wool Big, which is a DK weight 100% merino. Now this one, the one thing that I noticed when working with this yarn is that it had a lot of very long white guard hairs, I'm assuming. So I would kind of separate them from the yarn whenever I remembered to do so. After blocking, it did soften up quite a bit, but I wouldn't say it's like the butteriest soft to go right next to baby skin, which is why I think it's better for like a little baby jacket or, you know, an outerwear type of piece, or perhaps for older kids who need a bit of a sturdier yarn. I think it would work well for that. So overall, as I learned a lot as far as technique goes and things of that nature, and I think this pattern is totally worth more than what it cost. The pattern cost me $8. $7.93, but I think it is worth more than that just because, again, the level of detail and shaping and things like that that goes into this project. I ordered 250 grams of yarn and I only used 200. Like I had maybe like a gram or 2 left from the 4th ball. So I feel like I'm either having a lot of extra yarn or not having enough, but I'm having a hard time gauging exactly how much I need. So my collection of random single skeins is growing quite rapidly, which is not my fave, but you know, we're working with it. So total cost for this project is the yarn. I'm including 4 balls, which were $6 a piece. So $24 for yarn, $4.60 for the zipper, $8 for the pattern. So a total of $37, which is a little bit more. But considering that, you know, it does need the zipper and it is a little bit bigger, you know, it's fine. I think I forgot to mention, I made the size 2 to 4 months, and I think that should be fine. Again, it looks a bit bigger, or maybe I'm just forgetting. I feel like we forget how small babies are, but maybe I'm underestimating how big or how small they are, because I'm thinking all these projects are looking quite big, but you know, I think it'll work well for the winter time. She should be able to get a good amount of use out of it. So that is my last finished object. So now let's move over to the works in progress. I have my old WIPs that I have brought out of hibernation, and then I have a couple of new cast-ons. So I'll start from the oldest and work my way over to the newest. So my very oldest project that was cast on in January, believe it or not. How are we in May? I do not know. But it is my Soma socks from Summerly Knit. So I actually have a finished sock over here. So let me show you this one. So it has a 2x3 ribbed cuff. It has some faux cables down the side, Andalusian stitch on the front of the leg, a heel flap and gusset construction, and then just stockinette on the bottom of the sock. So this I made in the size small, which is, let me see how many stitches, 56. So it is a 56 stitch sock, which I know sounds quite small. I don't have particularly small feet. I have a women's size 8-foot average width, I guess. But my gauge on sock needles, I use 9-inch tiny circulars. My gauge tends to be pretty relaxed and pretty loose with it. So I have trialed a couple of different sizes. This is my third pair of socks that I have made, and these fit really, really well. So I finished the first sock within like 2 weeks of casting it on back in January, and then it just stayed in my WIP basket for a very, very long time. So when I picked this sock up, I had about, I think my progress was right about here. So I had a few more rounds to go for the cuff, and then I finished the heel flap, the gusset decreases, or the heel shaping, I guess, the gusset decreases, and now I'm just cruising on the foot. And the reason why I've gotten so much progress done on this is because it is such a portable project, and my son and I have been riding our bikes to our local park quite a bit because we've had beautiful, beautiful spring weather. Probably the best spring that we've had in many, many years. We did have, a couple of hot days, but other than that, we had beautiful temperature. We even had rain. We had the wettest May in the past 40 years, which is wild, but I loved it. I loved it. Unfortunately, spring is over. We have been in the 90s for the past few days, and I don't think that will get lower than that anymore now that it is June. So this has been really easy to just throw in my little crossbody bag that I'll take on our bikes, and I'll get some stitches done while he plays at the playground, which has been really awesome. So that is where I get most of the work on my sock done. So perhaps I'll get it done by the next podcast. I would kind of like to, because this is my oldest WIP. It's been there from January. So hopefully sooner rather than later, this will be completed. The yarn that I'm using is from Woolberry Fiber Co. It is their berry sock, I believe. It is their BFL nylon sock. I really like it because it is slightly more rustic. It's not as silky as a merino, which I think for socks holds up very well. So I don't know the colorway. It was from a mystery pack, but it is working up really nicely. So it is nice to have these old projects back in my rotation again. My next resuscitated WIP is my Movement Tee by Lily Kate France. So here is the progress that I have made. This is a top-down raglan t-shirt with a 4-stitch raglan and some lacy type of yarn. Well, they're not yarn over, but these open lacy raglans as opposed to the classic make right, make left. So the last time, well, before I put this WIP in hibernation, I guess, I had not folded down the collar yet. And I was maybe perhaps around this little this little stripe section. So since then, I have completed the raglan shaping. Then I split for sleeves. And also, I have done my very first bust darts, which was really fun. So I have a 32D, 32 double D bust. So I did choose to add in the optional bust shaping. To be honest, I think I was off in the row count at some point. The thing is, I didn't mark where I was left in the pattern, so I did my best. The yarn is a bit textured, so it does make it a lot harder for me to read my stitches, which I have gotten, pretty well versed at. So I know I'm totally off in the row count at some point in this. And so I did the bust shaping during one of these blue sections. So this front blue section is wider, but then the back one is the normal. I believe this is 10 rows. So I think it's okay. I can definitely tell the differences in my tension, because also this is 100% cotton yarn. I'll go over the details of the yarn in a moment. So I can definitely tell the difference in texture at the bust shaping, but hopefully that's something that will soften with blocking. So I have done about 3 inches of the body. So this is going along quite well. I need to still go back and finish, pick up the sleeve stitches and add a little bit more to that and finish those off. And then I have also stitched down the collar since then. So far it is fitting quite well. Slight gathering of the fabric here in the upper bust. I think that's where I kind of messed up the row count at some point. But again, I think it'll, as it grows in weight and once I block it, I think it'll lay perfectly fine. I am making the size 2 and on the recommended needle size, which is 3.75 millimeter needles. And the yarn that I'm using is Purl Soho Serif, which is 100% Pima cotton. This is the one that I was referring to, that this cotton is softer than the cottons that I used for the olive wrap and the rail bear bonnet. So this is a nice little textured situation in the blue and gray colors. I will leave the color names listed below because I don't really remember them. And I have 400 grams, 300 of the blue and 100 of the white. And I think that will be enough. This is my second ball of the cotton. So I think I should have enough. I think it'll work out perfectly fine. And this is a DK weight. So this is quite thick for my preference as far as summer garments go. I do live in a very hot but dry climate. So I think this is going to end up being more of like a spring fall type of piece, but I'll give it a shot, try wearing it during the summer heat and we'll see how it goes. But my hopes of it being a functional summer garment are rather low at this point. But all in all, it is going really well. I am enjoying this, and I think this is one that I'll be making some slow progress with. I did prioritize it for a few days just because I was in the zone with it, but there are a couple of other projects that I want to prioritize before this one. And my last of the old WIPs is my own self-drafted sweater. This is my tomato sweater, and it is called the tomato sweater because of the color. This is the color Heirloom from Explorer Knits and Fibers on their linen sock base, which is an 80% non-superwash wool, I think it's merino, and 20% linen. And it is a fingering weight. I absolutely love this yarn base. I will definitely purchase it again at some point. I'm actually really hopeful that she will take this base to flock. I really hope that she does. If she takes the space to flock, I'm definitely going to pick up a few more skeins because I really, really enjoy it. And fingering weight is my preference. I know it grows a lot slower, so I mean, it requires more work, but it is just so much more wearable for me. So the last time that I had, or I guess before I put this into hibernation, I was where I had that little progress keeper. And my goal was to knit about 1.5 inches and then give it a block to try on and see if I like the yoke depth to split for sleeves. So I'm doing a single stitch raglan with yarn overs instead of make ones left and right. And I had already added back an I-cord edging to my neckline. So I have tried this on and I think I'm ready to split for sleeves. So I'm going to split for sleeves. I still have to do a little bit of math and figure out how many stitches I'm going to cast on for the underarm, but I am ready to do that and keep on going. It's just going to be, you know, a stockinette raglan sweater. For the sleeves, I have decided I'm not going to do any decreases. I'm going to just do a regular sleeve, so that way it kind of bells out a little bit. I prefer a wider sleeve. I don't like fitted sleeves. I feel like they make me overheat more. And I want to do a lateral braid cast off. I saw that technique from Media Peruana. I'll leave her channel linked below. But I saw that technique and I really liked it. I thought it would add a nice little pop. So I'm going to do that for the sleeves. And then for the body, I'm just going to do a regular I-cord because I already did that for the neckline. So that way they are coordinating. And the other detail is that I'm going to do quite a bit of waist shaping, I think, just depending on how much ease I am looking at. Right now, I have 34 inches without the cast on underarm stitches. So that's where I'm going to do some math. I'm going to try and aim for perhaps a 36 or maybe 36.5 inch bust. I do my measurements based off of my upper bust. So 36.5 would give me about 3.5 inches of positive ease, which I think will work quite well. And I'm going to do some waist shaping just so that it fits better. I want it a slightly longer, so it'll kind of like rest on the top of like your butt. I don't know if that's the right word, if that's the best description, but I don't want it to be cropped, but also not super long either. So we'll see as I go, but this is probably the project that I'm going to prioritize the most because I do want to take it on a vacation in mid-July. So I have about almost a month and a half, about 6 weeks to finish it. So I think that will be plenty. So this is the one that I'm going to be prioritizing for the time being. And those are the 3 WIPs that I had in hibernation. I have one more, which is my Cloudy Days vest, but that is a DK weight wool, so that's not going to be that's just not going to be usable for me in the summertime whatsoever. So I think that I'm going to let that one rest a little bit longer, and because I want that one to be finished more so for the fall, winter time. So I have 2 other new WIPs to talk about. My new WIP cast on, my first new WIP cast on is actually a crochet project. This is the first crochet project I've done in quite some time, and it has been really, really enjoyable. I remember why I just loved crochet so much. But I will admit I do prefer crochet for non-garment pieces. So I am making the Stroll Hat by Yamagara, which is a really cute little summery bucket hat made in, is it washi style yarn or Japanese paper style yarn? So the yarn that I am using is from Purl Soho. It is their handwritten yarn, which is 100% organic cotton that is made in Japan in this washi paper style technique. So this is the color Wild Hyacinth. And this is a lace weight. The pattern calls for fingering, so I am holding this double. So I had to hand wind 50 grams. I was kind of just measuring this little ball on my scale to get halfway. So I had to hand wind this because it is so thin that my ball yarn winder just wasn't grasping onto it. So this can get a bit messy, as you can see with the strands of yarn. The hook that I am using is a 2.5 millimeter. I don't even know what brand this hook is. I just bought a pack on Amazon when I was learning how to crochet. So, I mean, it's fine for all intents and purposes. And the hat does come in 2 sizes. So I did a size 2, mostly just because my gauge was a bit tight. I think I'm loosening up now that I'm getting back into the rhythm of it, but I am currently still working on the sides of the hat. Right now it has all just been single crochets worked in a spiral, and then she does have charts to show you where to do the increases, so she has them, you know, strategically placed. So this has been, again, a really enjoyable piece. And after I finish the sides of the hat, the brim is in like a little lacy motif. So I think that will be really fun. And just hats are really practical for me. I wear a hat most of the times that I leave my house during the summertime. So I am really excited to have this. I don't have a ton of hats actually, and I don't prefer baseball caps because I just feel like they don't cover you from the sun very much. So I need them I need them for some protection. So I have like a big, like straw type of hat, more so for the beach. And then I have a like rusty red cotton, just like massive hat that kind of covers your shoulders. And I feel like this one will play well into my collection because it is a nice cooler tone. So I have a neutral, a warm, and then this is going to be a cool. So I think that'll add in a good bit of variety to my wardrobe. And also like with some neutrals, I think this color just pops beautifully. So I'm really excited to have this one as a finished project. And then my last cast on is my flock project, which will be the Palm Spring Tank by Knit California. Leslie Forrester Howard, or perhaps it's Howard Forrester. It's Knit California, and her name is Leslie, regardless. But it is just a good classic sporty tank top that I will be wearing to flock. My best friend and I are making matching tank tops, so I have just a square. That's all I got. But I'm just working on the upper back right now. I haven't started the increases or anything. And the yarn that I'm using is Ruby and Rose's Plump Rose, I believe. It's her superwash sock. So it is, I think, 80 superwash merino, 20 nylon, if I'm not mistaken. And this is in the color Glow Up from her Downton Abbey collection. It is absolutely stunning. This is one of those colors that sometimes the camera doesn't pick up very well, but it is a true peacock teal, and it has some, not speckling, but some slight tonality with some navy blues. I'm not sure if you can appreciate that on camera, but it is a beautiful, beautiful yarn. It is a merino in the summer, so again, we'll see, but Seattle should be a bit cooler. Hopefully you get nice weather during flock in the beginning of August. So again, this one has a deadline, so as soon as the tomato sweater is done, or if I kind of need a little bit of variation from the tomato sweater, I will be working on the Palm Spring tank. So all in all, I've been having so much fun working with these projects. Again, taking out these old WIPs and having these new cast-ons have just been so inspiring for me, so I'm having a really good time. And then I do have a couple of acquisitions that were part of the order, that the Linda Hobby order for the extra yarn. So I didn't want to just, send $5 of yarn across the Atlantic. So I added on a few things to that order to kind of make it a little bit more worthwhile. So I'll show you what I got. I have 3 things to show you. First, I think I'm going to show you these beautiful little tags. So these are all the same. They are the Made with Love tags that I included on my baby knits. And when I was looking at them on the website, they were on sale for $1.20, I believe. I didn't know how much tags were supposed to cost, but I thought that was the price for one tag. And I was like, I think that's a bit steep for a single little tag, but I was like, okay, I'll go with it. So I just ordered 5. I figured for each of the baby knits, and then for a sweater that I'll make for my mom later this year. Come to realize that the price, the $1.20, was for a pack of 5 tags. So now I have 5 packs of 5. So I had 25 tags total. So I have tags for a very long time, which will be nice. I think I'll add them in on those projects that it's harder to distinguish the front and back, perhaps like my tomato sweater. And then of course, any gift garments. I think for hats, maybe not, but for any kind of gifting garment, I'll add in a cute little tag because why not? So I have quite a bit of tags. Another thing that I included in that order is this ball of merino from Katia. This is their Concept by Katia, merino 100%. It is a DK weight superwash merino in this beautiful cream color. It's the color number 3. And the reason I bought this is because I want to make colorwork beanies. The Snow Beanie by Knitting for Olive, which I know I've had my issues with the Knitting for Olive patterns, but I think as far as understanding a chart and making a beanie, I think those are techniques that I have that I can pull off, So it is a colorwork of blue, white, and green. So they're like snow on Christmas trees, I think. So these are leftovers from my Seaway pullover that I made. This is Knitting for Olive Merino Deep Petroleum, I think is the color. And then this is Ula and Leah Baby Camel in the color Deep Harbor Blue. So these were leftovers. And then I'm not sure if this is the green that I'm going to use. This is Malabrigo Rios in the color Taurus. I made a crocheted wrap sweater, which I have unraveled because I come to the realization that I don't like how it fits and I'm not going to wear it. So my winding is not the best, but I don't know if this would be a good color for the trees or if I should get like a brighter green like in the pictures. I haven't decided on that. Now that I'm thinking about it, I probably should have just gotten a ball of green. But we'll see. I still have some time before I'm going to start this project. So these are the colors, and I'm going to make matching ones for my son in a big kid size. He is 8 years old, but he is a very tall, big kid. So I think I'm going to make him maybe like a 10 to 12-year-old size. So I'll use the mohair for his, but for the babies, I'm not going to use mohair. I'm just going to use the Camel Held Double. So that is a little plan that I have for the winter time. I think I'm kind of excited to cast this one on. So I might not wait until winter to cast it on. And then the last thing that I ordered from the Linda Hobby order is this Seta Suri by Lana Grossa. So I have been looking for, and I will start by saying that I love fluff. I love mohair and suri and just like fluffiness. I love fluffy fluffiness. I know it's not for everybody, but I really enjoy it. And I really, really wish that I lived in a climate that was colder where I could wear my fluffy projects for more time out of the year. But we're making do with what we have. So I have been wanting to try different fluffs for my projects. And I know I will continue on my journey of trying more fluffs. But I saw this one and the reviews that I found online, I think were pretty well about this yarn. So I decided to get it. It is a 69% Surrey alpaca, 31% silk. And of course it's a lightweight, and this is a 25 gram, like, it's not a hank, it's not a ball. It's like this little, I don't know what to call this. So anyways, the reason that I got this, and this is the color for, I think it's the called Nougat, I believe. I bought this to pair with this Witchfire Fibers variegated yarn that I have. I only have a colorway number, which is 2190. I got this in a mystery pack. I have 2 skeins of this, of the same color. I got it in a mystery pack, so I'm assuming, and this is their older logo, so I'm assuming this is a bit of an older yarn, but I wanted a open gauged fluffy sweater. I had at first thought of the Lento, or perhaps the California sweater. The Lento is a raglan, California sweater is a drop shoulder. But then I saw the Metropolitan pullover by Tori U, which is, I don't remember if it's a saddle or a contiguous sleeve. I'll have it listed somewhere, but I think it's a contiguous. Anyways, it is a much more tailored shoulder, so that one won me out. And it's that same, you know, open gauge, large needle size with some fluff. So that is what I'm going to make. I'm going to make the Metropolitan pullover. I think that the taupiness and the neutrality of the Seta Suri will really balance out the green and the variegation in this yarn. Actually, my second skein has less of this dark green, and it has more of, I have it right here, so here we go. Here's the second skein. So as you can see, it has more like beigey, creamy yellow in it, as opposed to this like patch of dark green. So because of the variegation, I figured that this like neutral suri would kind of tone it down and make it a bit harmonious and not so overwhelming. So this is the plan that I have for the winter, maybe early next year. I don't have a specific time frame for it, but this is a project that will get done eventually. So that is all I have for you. So it was a nice little balance of finished objects, WIPs, and a sprinkle of a little acquisition as well. So thank you so much for choosing to spend some of your time with me. I really appreciate all of your kind comments and support. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe as well so you can be included in this little community and be up to date with all of our yarny adventures. So until next time, bye.